You gonna have the breaking news?
Our spirits reside. Unity strong, we walk this line. One big voice, it's our time. Generation fighters take the stand. From shore to shore, we reclaim the land. Grit and glory in every strand. In Jersey Shore, we make our stand.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Jersey Shore podcast. That's S-U-R-E because we are always sure. I'm your host, Damon Galdo. Tonight's guest is Blake Przybyszewski.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. And we'll get to Blake. Well, I'll explain to you who he is. He's heavily involved with the Camden County GOP, but I'll let him get into that when we get started. But as of right now, before I start with the monologue, we have some breaking news. Right here from New Jersey, we have the Newark mayor, Ras Baraka, was just arrested by ICE by breaking into an ICE facility. I believe he was arrested with some other people. I guess they're maybe part of the staff, or there was a protest up there. But he decided to break in, and he got arrested. So good for him, and good for the ones that arrested him. So hopefully he learned his lesson. So he wanted to break in just to make sure they're being fed. Okay, I'm sure that's what it was. But yeah, it's more signs of the left doing things that don't make any sense. It's non-common sense. So again, this is Jersey Shore Podcast. We're coming to you live from First Amendment Live Studios, brought to you by the Great America's Pulse Network. And again, I want to touch on common sense. I mean, that's what this show is about. It's as simple as that. You know, I in my field, you know, I'm in construction. I use math a lot. Never thought I'd use it when I was younger. Always tell me, when am I going to use it? I use it every day. But it's like simple. It's like reducing something down to the smallest fraction, making it simple. That's what common sense is. And we seem to be lacking that in this state and this country. I mean, even though most of the normies came out and they voted for Trump, I call them normies because they're people that have common sense, people that believe that men are men and women are women, and that your cat can't be your spiritual guide to your gender. You know, so that's regular people, and they came out and they voted for Trump. But we still have a lot of people lacking common sense. You know, we still see Joe Biden coming out on The View, and I don't know how many times we could see that man die on TV, but, you know, his wife, Dr. Joe Biden, probably won't let him down, let him go because they want that $30 million book deal, you know, so anything to trot him out for, you know, one more time to watch a man die on screen. But it's a shame, it really is. But there's a lot of other things we can get into. We got the new Pope coming up. We got the gubernatorial race coming up. And then again, President Who is going to be coming up. I just talked about him. But on this show, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get common sense. It's simple. I mean, we don't try to go against the grain. We just try to go against what makes sense. I mean, so on this show, we're going to deliver the truth. And that's what it is. And the thing about the truth, it doesn't care about your feelings. You know, it doesn't bend to fit narratives. And it sure as hell doesn't come with a trigger warning at all. But the truth is what it is. So every week on Jersey Shore, we're bringing you unfiltered, uncensored, unindoctrinated truth. No corporate overlords, no political puppets, just facts, freedom, and a whole lot of fire. So with that, with the breaking news, what I just said, let's roll into our first segment.
Jersey Shore, we make our stand.
Okay, so before we get started on the first segment, and I want to introduce Blake here. The first segment is called New Pope and New Hope, both. So we'll get into that. But Blake, you want to introduce yourself? Tell everybody. I know you're heavily involved with the Young Republicans, Camden County.
Correct, yes.
the chair, and I know you're a committee now. You got a lot of stuff going on.
So hi everybody. My name is Blake Przybyszewski. I'm currently the Camden County Young Republican State Committeeman. I used to be the chairman, but we recently had a really big shakeup for our executive team. Very exciting times. A lot of new faces, a lot of new people involved in this. A lot of young people that want to do the best, not just for their county, but for their state as well. On top of that, I'm also the municipal chairman for the Belmar Republican Party as well. I'm also running for councilman down in Belmar, New Jersey as well, too. So, and political consultant for the Legislative District 4 campaign for Barbara McCormick, and a bunch of other titles that I didn't ask to have, but people keep giving to me. So.
Well, it's good to know. I mean, and don't mind me asking how old?
29.
29. So
Yeah.
29 years old, involved that much. I mean, I love it. I'm 43, going on 44 soon. I'm an old fart at this point. But that's why I like the fact that you're involved with the Young Republicans.
Yes,
And there's a lot of young people. And meeting with the guys at the Mag in the Pines.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've talked to them actually on the phone for it. It's the first time I met them in person. But some of their, like Patrick Farley. He's with them now, and
yes.
He helped out with my campaign. He's another young kid. He was 21. I think he's 22 now. But seeing the young guys, I hate even saying it. It makes me feel old. But getting involved that early, I mean, that's what's important. People knowing that there's something wrong at that age. You know what I mean?
100%.
When I was that young, when I was in my late 20s, I started paying more attention. But, early 20s, I didn't care. I didn't pay attention. I was just worried about what I was doing the next day.
Well, for me, it started, I'll tell you how it started for me was back in 2015, 2016. So my mother was a big fan of the E! News Network. She loved all the celebrity drama, right? Now, growing up, I never understood when like Obama or Hillary or Clinton would be like, oh, we want to raise the taxes. We want to do this. We want to do that. All the celebrities would come out, start clapping for him. Yeah, we want this guy. It's like, but you're the rich. Why do you want him to raise the taxes on you? But all of a sudden, Donald Trump started coming out saying the exact same thing, and they all hated him. And I'm like, what's he saying wrong? Made me realize, oh, he can't be bought. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's when it really flipped for me, and I was like, yep, I'm supporting him. So
no, it's nice to have an outsider, not a career politician. I mean, we'll get into that second segment, more career politician like Biden. But with this segment here, I mean, we do have let's throw S1V1, the first clip.
In a few seconds, we have seen white smoke billowing out of the Sistine Chapel chimney. This is breaking news. We have a new pope. The Sistine Chapel chimney has signaled white smoke at 5 this evening. This means that 133 cardinals inside the Sistine Chapel have decided, have voted, and have elected the 267th Pope, the heir to St. Peter, a man who will lead 1.4 billion Catholics around the world.
There you go. 1.4 million people. That's got to be an exciting thing to be out of the bag and see the white smoke come out.
Yeah, it's like watching the ball drop, except it happens, every 100 years or something?
Well, we have one resigned. Benedict resigned, actually. He was getting up there in age. So the first American Pope, too.
That's incredible, yeah.
And already one thing, I can't say anything bad about the Pope, probably go to hell. But no, one thing, I said it before, with Pope Francis, they're human beings. You don't have to agree with them with everything, but the preaching the word of God, yes, I do. I am Catholic personally, but you don't have to be Catholic to enjoy something like that and just see, representing 1.4 billion people on the planet. That's a big deal. Now, like I said, he's just a man, a regular person that's holding the title, but he's an important world leader to represent that many people. So, but I didn't agree with everything Pope Francis said. He didn't agree with Trump and his stance on the border and stuff like that. And he was a little bit more of a progressive, and that's what they're saying about this new Pope because he's American. But I haven't seen anything.
I keep hearing back and forth things. I hear he's a progressive because of stuff he retweeted on Twitter in regards to disagreeing with J.D. Vance. But then you see Charlie Kirk come out and be like, "We looked at the Pope's voting record."
And sound too. Are we recording? Or are we airing?
Hold on, I'm waiting for it. Yeah, there we
go. Okay, we're back. We're back up. Sorry, I don't know what happened. We got booted off the stream, guys. Apologize. But we were just talking about how exciting it is to have a new pope. And so hopefully, some good times come from it. I'm sure it will. But when I put in new pope, and then I actually put in new hope, hopefully we do have some new hope in this country.
Let's hope. No pun intended.
Yeah, I mean, November 5th was a big change. I mean, a lot of people came out and they voted, and they voted for Donald Trump to do the things that he's doing.
Yep.
He's firing on all cylinders. That with the border, I mean, it's incredible.
Every single day he's doing something. I mean, I don't know how many executive orders he signed at this point, but it seems like he's signing 10 a day, even from his inauguration till now. It's ridiculous how much.
Yeah, did you say he signed one 4 hours ago?
Like 30 minutes ago was he was taking all the funds that they were giving to illegal immigrants. He was using them to open up like a national homeless center for veterans. It just got reported about like 30 minutes ago, which is awesome. I'm happy to hear that because our veterans need the help. Like seriously, like give them everything that we possibly can. I don't understand why we're giving these people that, come here illegally, but we're not giving it to the people that, served our country and sacrificed everything they could. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, it's almost like they abandoned their own people. I mean, I always hate that. I mean, it's a political show, but so I have to put it this way, but the put it Democrats and Republicans, but it's just the type of people.
Yeah,
not every Democrat's that way, but people were just trained to vote Democrat. And that's they did that their whole life. I was trained that way when I was younger, but it's like you gave up on your own people. Like, how are you going to not fund somebody or give someone a place to stay or help them out when they're a veteran that defended this nation and pretty much what they did gave you what you had.
Correct.
Their sacrifices gave you your privileges, and yet you're going to let illegals come in here only for a vote. That's the only reason why.
My mother and father used to always tell me, and this is the same thing that I apply to the whole illegal immigration thing is, you can't help you can't help others if you can't help yourself. And right now, America needs a lot of help. We can't, like, even if it's for the right reasons, people are trying to escape war-torn areas or whatever the case may be, whatever it is, we have to help our own first because that's who comes first. It's America first. Like, we can't worry about the world. I mean, you look at the war going on right now in India and Pakistan. What J.D. Vance said, it's like, it's none of our business. And I agree with him 100%. So, and coming from him is pretty serious because if anything, he's got family from his wife's side that are probably over there that, he's probably worried about. And he's like, no, we can't worry about it. So,
yeah, you're right. I mean, we can't get involved in every war and every conflict. I mean, what Trump did say, he said, if they need my help, if I can do anything to help out, I will be there, but be there to negotiate. That's what he meant by it. Not get involved. But that's as far as we should go. I mean, the only scary thing is that they are two nuclear powers. And that's what you wonder when you have, I think there's like only 8 countries with nuclear capability, 8 or 9, that have nuclear weapons, and there are 2 of them. And they're not most stable, No,
100%.
So that's the only thing you worry about. That's why we worry about, Iran getting a nuclear weapon. So I don't know what deals Trump's going to make when he goes on that trip. I think he left today for his trip, or maybe tomorrow.
He might have went on the trip. I know Pete Hegseth was supposed to go to Israel and then he canceled the trip for some reason. So I don't know what's going on over there. Honestly, I keep hearing conflicting reports, like this coming out, that coming out. It's like, what are they doing? So who knows?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll
find out.
But I mean, not just doing it, but Trump making the strides with the border, with going after the colleges like Harvard. We talked about that before.
Yeah.
And holding them. What are you doing? With their DEI and recruiting and those kids. Not the sorry, I'm drawing a blank. But anyway, and then cutting off their funding. They have a $53 billion endowment. Why would they need $2.2 billion from taxpayers?
Exactly.
And especially when they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing to abide by the federal regulations. Affirmative action is what they kept in place when they got rid of that. And that's why you look at schools like Columbia, too. I mean, at least Columbia, you see what happened with all the Hamas protesters.
Yeah, I know they broke it up, but did they face jail time or anything?
They arrested them now.
Yeah.
And this time, Columbia called the police. instead of just letting them destroy it. Because the only reason why is because of Trump.
Yeah,
they knew if they let that go, if the other administration was in office, they wouldn't. They would just let it go.
Let it go.
Fine. Yeah. So the Dean of Columbia put out a statement, and it was a video statement saying that that's not what we do here. We're okay with regular protests, but as soon as it's not peaceful or you damage the school, now they weren't saying any of this last year.
Yeah,
but now they know there's different sheriff in town. So
yeah, and he's not playing.
Yeah, so I don't really give Columbia credit for it. They're only doing it to save their own asses. But yeah, and then Trump just had the announcement. Let's roll.
President Trump says the new trade deal between the U.S. and the U.K. has been in the works for 25 years across multiple administrations.
It's been a deal that we thought, very complicated. It became very simple. It's opening up the country that we really didn't have the kind of access to that I would have thought. I was surprised.
The president's 10% baseline tariff remains in place, but the deal scales back the levies imposed on British cars, steel, and aluminum. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer joined the president on the phone for the announcement.
We've always had a fair and balanced arrangement between our countries. This builds on that, hugely important. For sectors like car manufacturing and for steel and aluminium and so many others.
In exchange for the partial tariff relief, the British are opening up their markets to more American goods, especially for agriculture such as beef and ethanol.
This is going to exponentially increase our beef exports. And to be very clear, American beef is the safest, the best quality, and the crown jewel of American agriculture for the world.
So there you go. He's already making deals with the UK. I mean, I looked into it. I mean, it's kind of vague on what it is. There's nothing set in stone yet, but it's just a step in the right direction.
I thought it was interesting that she said one of the things that we would be exporting to the UK was beef, because I know Europe has very, very strict rules when it comes to what preservatives and things you can put in the food over there. So I'm curious if the beef that they're exporting, they're doing a huge, like with RFK, for example, if they're doing a huge thing with what is it, USDA, when it comes to the beef and stuff like that, if we're going to see a huge beef change in the United States and how that's produced and stuff like that, because they would have to create a whole new type, unless we're selling a more organic beef, but we don't make that much organic beef as we do, the regular beef. So
that's a good point.
Yeah,
it might be changing with RFK. It might be changing the type of feed or how they're raised.
Correct.
All that stuff. Maybe all grass fed or no steroids or whatever that else they may be doing it. But that's a good point. It'd be good like that, because I'd rather eat that type of.
100%. Yeah. So, when he said, "Oh, we're getting rid of Red 40 or Red 5 or whatever it was," I was jumping up and down on my couch. I'm like, "Finally, yes, get the poison out of our food! Thank God."
Why wouldn't I've been hearing about that for a long time with the dyes, and over in Europe, they don't use it. They use natural like fruit for.
Hey, that stuff in particular messes. I remember when I was a kid, we used to my mom would tell me, "You're not drinking any Hawaiian, like red Hawaiian punch," because every time I would drink it and go to bed, I would have terrible nightmares. Like, really? I swear to God, it's the weirdest thing in the world. So I don't know what's in that stuff, but it's not good.
The Hawaiian punch guy, like breaking through your wall.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I know. Hopefully that's a good sign. I'll open up the deal with the UK. I mean, I know we don't buy a ton of their cars.
Yeah.
I know the tariffs is like it's 10. It's still going to be 10%, but then they're going to be lower. And then once we buy a $100,000 car, it goes back to 10%. I don't know the full extent of it, but more will come out. But either way, it's still progress, and the market, jumped because of it.
It did.
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking at my crypto. It went up pretty big.
I was looking at my stocks.
But I still have some Dogecoin. I rebought it again. That's a sad story. You know what? I might just tell everybody real quick. It might ruin the night for you. But when Dogecoin first came out, I bought it at like a fraction of a penny. It was like 0.001. So I had like, I don't know, maybe 8 million coins at one point. And it never really went up. I was up like $1,000 on it, and I was moving, and I kind of need the money. My buddy owned it too, and I was like, I'm just going to sell it. It's been like 2 years, didn't really go anywhere. So I sold it. I used it to help move when I moved to Jersey. And then I was actually at work. I'm up on the roof. My buddy calls me up. He's like, "Yo, did you see Doge?" I'm like, "No, why?" He's like, "It's up to 57 cents."
Oh,
That's when Elon Musk like
God.
tweeted out it was his favorite coin,
Yeah.
and it went through the roof. Now I almost went off the roof because I was.
I would have.
It would have millions of dollars.
Oh my
and,
Lord!
And I told my buddy, I said, "You realize I'm on the roof right now at work?" I said, "I'm about to die."
About to jump.
No. I called up my sisters. I told her to buy it. My neighbor, and they never paid attention to it. They bought it, and my neighbor's like, "I made $45,000." I'm like,
I'm going to Disney World. Yeah.
My sister's like, "I made 8,000." I'm like, "Oh, great." I made nothing. Oh, well, I made 1,000 over 2 years, but I could have made millions if I would have held off 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Oh, that stinks.
Yeah, so that's my bad luck. But yeah. So anyway, so the market's to jump, so that's a good thing. But yeah, so I just think that Trump is delivering on everything, and the only kind of negative thing that he's been getting is the tariffs, because no one's sure if like where the off ramp's going to be and where it's going to end.
We're not going to tell. Like, I don't think we're going to see where this is going to go really until September, because the whole point is to bring manufacturing back to the states, obviously, right? That's kind of the whole reason behind the tariffs and everything. And it doesn't take companies long to build up warehouses and stuff like that. I mean, it takes a while. It takes a couple months.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take 4 years like the Democrats, tell you when a Democrat president leaves office and a Republican comes in and says, "Oh, this is the Democrats' economic plan work," and it's like, no, that's not how that works. Like when those guys, like when business, I mean, I'm sure you know this, when business owners smell money, they attack that immediately, like right out of the gate. They're like, we got to get down there. Like there's money to be made, et cetera, et cetera. So I guarantee you they're building up warehouses as we speak across the country. I don't know if it's happening here in New Jersey, but who knows where it's happening elsewhere in the other states that we have. So,
well, hopefully it starts happening in New Jersey. But we're going to have to get on our whoever's going to be our candidate for governor for 100%. That one. So we'll see.
We got to get the right governor in there first.
Yeah, well, everyone knows Jersey Shore is back in Bill Spadia. So, Bill, we're rooting for you. We'll be voting for you. I got the family voting for you. You got the guys on the job voting for you. Even though some of them like Chitterelli. I'm not saying anything bad about Jack or anything like that. I know Bill a little bit more, and I think that his policy is better. Bill, we'll get into that in the third segment too. We're going to cut some of that debate and look into it. But I think Bill is a better candidate. I think that he's more inclined to keep his promises, and he's more of the Trump guy, more of the outsider.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
But so to wrap up this segment, though, I want to go into. Did you hear about that statue in Times Square?
Yeah, I have no idea what that is. I don't know why it got put up, and I don't know. I mean, I can understand why people are, raging about it, but I just don't get it. Like, someone's got to explain this to me. Like, what was the point? Like, who commissioned this? Like,
I don't know. I mean, everyone was just like, it just showed up out of nowhere. Like, how does a statue like that
in the middle of Times Square of all places too? It's like, oh, we could just start putting things in the middle of Times Square now without telling people.
Yeah, I know. Well, let's put it up on screen. Let's look at a picture of this. So. Now, this is, I mean, the height of it, I don't even know, but I'm assuming it's probably like 25 feet tall or so. But from what I'm reading, is that there's two statues of two white guys in Times Square. And it didn't have enough diversity, so they figured they would put I would say, a plus size black woman who looks kind of angry.
I mean, my only problem is what is the point? Like, okay, you want to make the argument, sure. We need to, let's put a historical black woman figure up there, right? Like somebody that's made an impact in American history. 100%, and I agree with that. But I just don't putting it up for the sake of putting it up. Like,
one's a war hero. The other one, I forget what he did. He got Broadway pretty much started with one. Played a big role in that. So they actually accomplished things. I mean, no one knows who this is. If it was, I mean, I don't care. I mean, people won't want to see a statue of me. Like, who is this guy? Yeah, exactly. That's my point. No one would want to see a statue of me either. Yeah. So it's like, I don't get it. It's pointless and a waste of time. I would say that somebody that their pants look way too tight. For one, they look angry. I was watching Gutfeld and Tyrus was talking about. He's like, you know what? If I pulled up from work and that was waiting for me at the door, I would know it was on. I'm backing up out of the driveway. She's waiting for me. She's going to start yelling at me about something with that face. He's like, I know that look.
Oh, no.
But I was cracking up. It was funny. But it's like, but it's like, I don't know. I just don't get it. A lot of people don't. And I'm just curious, why just throw a statue like that right in the, what is your point? And apparently the guy is a French artist. You know what it did?
Like, really? Okay, that I didn't know.
So,
What?
well, they gave us a Statue of Liberty. So maybe they're trying to replace it? I don't know. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
But other than that, yeah. So hopefully there is some hope. I feel it, certainly. I'm seeing it in Camden County. I'm seeing it in Gloucester County. We're seeing a lot more younger people getting involved. I think that Trump is inviting that too, because when I interview younger people, when the producer and I went to early voting,
Yes.
well, I remember running into young people and talking to them, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm voting for Trump," because they thought he was cool.
Yeah,
You know,
100%.
they're like, finally, he's not like a stiff, like literally Joe Biden. You know what I mean?
I think a lot of people my age, 8, 10 years ago thought, especially like when I was in high school, people were like, "Oh, politics is just like boring. It's a bunch of."
Yeah.
My dad used to always tell me, and I know so many politicians watching this right now are going to get upset when I say this, but my dad used to tell me that politicians are the people that wanted to get into Hollywood, but they were too ugly to get into Hollywood, so they did politics instead. That's what he told me. Now, you can go complain to him. He's not here anymore, but whatever. But yeah, it wasn't really until Trump came along is when I started paying attention to it. And that was really honestly because everybody was talking about him. Like,
Yeah.
did you see what Donald Trump said? He did this, he did that. I'm like, and this is me. Keep in mind, I'm a big wrestling fan. I knew Trump from The Apprentice and his appearance on WrestleMania 23. Outside of that, I don't know too much about the guy. Besides, he could be a little arrogant. This was 2015 me.
Yeah.
I go on and I see what he's talking about, and I'm like, Hillary and Obama and Clinton and Bush were all saying the exact same thing as he is. What makes him different? And I think about it, I'm like, oh, he's a self-made billionaire. That's the difference.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he can't be bought.
exactly.
And they use all the stuff. Oh, well, Trump says this, and the way his mean tweets and everything else. Well, I think we're way past the point where we're voting on a politician because of their so much of their character, like who the person is. You want to vote on policy. I mean, I think that went out the window in the Bill Clinton days. With the whole Well,
Clinton was notorious. If you look back at his like debates or whatever, he would really pull on the heartstrings of people, like with the things that he would say and stuff like that. Whereas the Republican candidate, I forget who it was that was going against him at the time, it was always more policy based. His was more like emotional based, and I think that's why people clinged on to him more. So, but a lot of that's going out of the window now because people are tired. Unfortunately, people are tired of caring, to be honest with you. They're worried about themselves, they're worried about their family, they're worried about their community, and they're worried about their country. They're not worried about what else is going on around the world. So
yeah, I know. What I meant by like Clinton with the whole Monica Lewinsky thing.
Oh.
That's what I was getting at. So then they say Trump, he slept with a porn star, if he did or didn't, whatever it is, what it is, he paid him hush money. But I'm just saying, as far as that goes, you want to vote on somebody because of their policy. I mean, yeah, can Trump, come off as arrogant? Sure, he is. I mean, then does he want to win all the time? Yeah, sure. I want somebody like that.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is like, me, I'm a big policy guy. I listen to the policy. What exactly are you going to do? One of the things I don't like is when people do like talking points and they don't go deep into them. Like they don't explain, okay, how are we going to do this? Like It sounds great for a TikTok, but I would like to know, like, what is the actual plan for this? What do you plan on doing? And that was one of the reasons I like Trump, because he'd be like, we're going to do this. This is how we're going to do it. And so be it. So Democratic side, you didn't hear a lot of that. All you heard was Trump bad. That's it.
Trump bad.
Okay, cool.
And, you got Democrats will come out. We're going to lower taxes. Okay, sounds good.
How? What's the plan?
By taxing you more. So,
yeah.
But all right. So right now, that's it's going. We're going to roll into segment 2, which is President Who, which we got some good clips for that one. So all right, it's in segment 1.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
Generation fighters take the stand. From shore to shore we reclaim the land. Grit and glory in every strand. In Jersey Shore we make our stand.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Jersey Shore segment 2. This segment is titled President Who. So President Who means Joe Biden. I spoke about it in my monologue briefly, but it seems like Biden still keeps coming out, and you just keep watching him die on TV over and over again. It's
That's sad.
It is. At this point, it is sad.
Like, just let the guy retire at this point. I heard rumors they wanted to run him in 2028. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Like, my God, like.
I mean, well, Jill wouldn't mind. I know that.
She probably wouldn't. But
she would trot him right out there. She doesn't care. I mean, the Biden family itself are like a bacteria that feeds off the byproduct of the American taxpayer. I mean, he's been a career politician his entire life, never had a real job, and became filthy rich. I mean, they're corrupt as his days long. Just the blanket pardons he gave out for everybody, for his family, dating back to whatever it was. It doesn't even matter, long enough. But it's like, number one, he was an empty suit as a president. His foreign policy was horrible. I mean, the way he ran this country, I can't even say he ran this country. And you're going to see that one of these clips that's coming up. So, before I even talk about it, let's roll S2V1.
Who was the president? And who has been the president since January 20th, 2025?
Donald J. Trump.
Okay. And who was the president in 2024?
One believes President Biden.
One believes? You one of those non-believers that the American people didn't vote?
I am not.
You're not? You said one believes?
There you go. I mean, I love when I saw that with Besson. He said one believes.
One believes.
And you see the smile on his face.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm loving about this, is because now the Republicans, they can do that with the smile on their face, because they know that they're going to the left is going to go crazy over it. It's just like when Trump toys with the media all the time.
Yeah.
When he came out with the 2028 ads.
Yeah.
They knew it. He knew they were going to run with it. I mean, the media are like it's like having a cat and having a little pointer laser, and as soon as you shine it, they just chase it.
If you remember when Biden, early in Biden's when he got elected president, right? Like they were showing Biden and everything like that, and I guess CNN's ratings were going down, so they invited Donald Trump on the CNN to bring him back on to get the. Remember that? And it was everyone got mad about it. It was like, oh, okay.
I could just imagine CNN, MSNBC. I said it before. They probably had a meeting with all their staff, before November 5th, and said, "Listen, everyone in here, you're going to vote for Trump, or else we're going under." Because their ratings.
We need content.
Need somebody to trash and talk about. But yeah, I mean, Biden, he's an empty suit. And like I said, they're corrupt as the day is long. And now just Jill trotting them out there and going to The View, too. I mean, The View, they all discuss me anyway. Every single one of them on the show. I can't wait that it gets canceled. I can't believe it's still on. I can't believe people watch it. I only watch it like a clip here and there just to come up with something like that. While you'll see it coming up. I was watching Gutfeld. I actually stole this from him. So thanks, Greg. But it was Biden saying his anyways stuff. But you could see his decline. I mean, when he fell
Yeah.
apart on the stage, that Trump, I still remember like yesterday, that debate.
Oh yeah, I mean and Trump was like, I don't even know I don't even know if he knows what he said.
Yeah, he said, I have no idea what he said, and I don't think he did either.
Yeah, that was just sad. It really was. It's just like,
and he's like, we beat Medicaid out of nowhere, and he's like, yeah, you did. You beat it to the ground. And I'm like, I'm watching too. I'm like, oh my god, this is like the best show on earth.
So
right now.
layup.
Yeah,
he just gave him the ball and he dunked it. So
yeah, but one thing Biden won't let go of, though, he still is doing the race baiting and the gender baiting and all that stuff. He talked about it on The View. Talked about why Kamala lost and she was a woman of color and that and all that stuff. Well,
I think it boils down to her policies. I mean, a lot of it was pulling on the heartstrings. A lot of it was Trump bad, but the few policies that she did have, that she did talk about, like the capital gains tax, was astronomical. Like that seriously could have destroyed our entire economy.
Yeah.
Like you can't just say that. And a lot of people don't understand what that is, but if you look into it, it's like, oh my God, like.
Yeah, it was basically, capital gains if you actually make income, but they want to go after your unrealized capital gains.
Yes, that's exactly.
So if you have money, you were talking about the stock market. So if you bought stock, I'll make for easy math, you put a $10 stock and it goes up to $100. Then they say, okay, well, you made $90. You got to pay taxes on it right now.
Exactly.
Like I didn't sell it. What if it goes under?
But not even just that. It's like also too like landlords and like landowners and business owners. It's like that property value goes up. You got to pay the taxes on it. I mean, property values, if you look at it right now in the state of New Jersey, they're skyrocketing. They were like what, $250,000 for like a regular like 3-bedroom rancher, at least in my town. It was like 5-6 years ago, 250,000. Now they're going up to like 400,000. And with that unrealized capital gains tax, you'd be having to pay the taxes on $150,000 on top of your property tax. Get out of here.
You're right. Yeah, I bought my house less ever 5 years ago, and what it's worth now, I won't be able to pay the taxes on it.
Yeah, nobody.
It's not like I sold it. They'll be like, okay, well, yeah, it went up $100,000. So you owe taxes on $100,000. I'm like, what? Where am I getting that from?
Exactly.
It would force me to have to sell my house.
Yeah, 100%.
Like it would force you to have to sell your stock, in order to pay it off. Then
force you to have to sell everything. I mean, honestly, anything that gains value.
Yeah.
Only thing you wouldn't probably sell is your car because that thing depreciates as soon as you buy it.
Yeah, that's right. But
all living in RVs.
And the one thing that really killed her too, when they dumped that commercial out there, like right towards the end, even though people were talking about, was her wanting to give sex changes to illegal migrant criminals that are in prison.
That just.
And they just dumped that one out there. I think that was a straw. People were like, "What?
What demographic is that? That they're trying to target? Because can they even vote? Like they're in prison anyways. Like
well, they're illegal. They can't vote. They're in prison. They shouldn't be in this country.
Yeah, that's true.
Shouldn't be in our jails, wasting our taxpayer dollars. But I believe it's like $50,000 a year that house a criminal in jail.
Oh my God!
And that's due to taxpayers. And then when they get in there and say, well, I want to cut off my junk and have this major surgery, and I'm a woman now, and I'm going to pay for it. No, no way.
I just don't get it.
But the thing is, they keep doubling down on these policies, like these 90-10 issues. It used to be 80-20. I think they're 90-10 now. With the men playing in women's sports and all these gender issues. And just let it go.
I think I'll be honest with you. I think one of the reasons why they're keeping Biden around and a lot of the old Democratic guard is because they realize the new generation of Democrats coming up all believe in this stuff. And they're just like, they're trying to save as much of it as they possibly can. So they go along with it, but I don't think deep down inside they believe that. I think if anything, they're looking at their party and they're like, wow, we're doomed. Like
they should be. You would think so. I mean, I think they're in the worst. They're polling. The party itself is the worst it's ever been. Like, nobody trusts the Democrats. I mean, as much as Trump dropped in the polls, and a lot of it was because of the tariffs. There's no reason why, because economy is the number one thing for people. It doesn't matter what you do. You can do whatever. You can do the greatest stuff ever. But if people are still hurting in their wallets or uncertainty in the economy, they're still going to judge you by that. So his numbers are dropping the polls because of it. But his saving grace is the Democrats are in the basement, like as a whole. To be honest with you, I think what's going to happen is, and
I'd be very interested to see what happens post-Trump presidency, because that's when we're going to find out what exactly happens. In my opinion, I think what's going to happen is 10, 20 years from now, I think the Democrat Party is going to fall off. I think it's with these radicals, these people that are, involved in it, they're never going to change. They've been indoctrinated into this in the colleges since they got out of high school. I think it's going to fall off. I think it's going to become a lesser party, a party of the past. And then what I end up thinking is going to happen is the Republican Party. I think there's going to be a split in the Republican Party. That's just my opinion, though, based on the things that I've seen on social media and television and stuff like that. Again, my opinion.
There may be. I mean, in politics, there's always comebacks too. So the Democrat Party could come back, but yeah, that's quite a possibility. It could be a split like that because maybe they're past the point of no return. They can't come back from it. I mean,
you saw that guy that who was it, the national DNC chair or whatever, the skinny guy.
Oh yeah,
young dude. I looked at him and I'm like, what are we doing?
yeah. I mean, he made his beans by he was involved in the school shooting. He wasn't involved, like he was at the school, and while there's still kind of different people say he was there, he wasn't there, but he was part of that school. There was a school shooting.
That's a shame.
That kind of made him like famous because he's talked about it, and I don't know if he did interviews and podcasts or whatever, and then that's how he worked his way up. But I don't know. And then he turned around and said, "We're going to primary all the old people."
Yeah, that's the crazy part too. Is like they say that, and then they're doubling that. He was quadrupling, going down on all the different policies. Like he was going harder than Kamala and Biden was with some of the progressive stuff. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is, man. I mean, I guess a lot of people, you haven't really faced true adversity or anything like that, and you think everything should be handed to you. I mean, you see the college kids at their age too. I'm not saying that I never fought in a war or anything like that. I mean, I faced adversity. A lot of it was self-inflicted, but when I was younger. But I never got everything handed to me. You have these college kids that go and they have these recruited college professors that are receiving money from other countries that want the United States destroyed. We talked about that on the last podcast and one before as well, like Qatar giving them billions of dollars, China billions of dollars, Saudi Arabia, Iran billions of dollars given to our colleges. The University of Penn given them to Harvard, given them to Columbia is another one of them. The massive amounts of money. Why are these foreign countries who are not friendly with us giving so much money to our colleges?
Exactly. And and here's the thing too, right? Like there's things that the younger people, whether it be Democrat or, well, I'll say Democrat in this case, they talk about is an issue. And the thing is from my perspective as somebody who is a young man, it is an issue. The issue is what their solution to that issue is. It doesn't make any sense, and it's going to cause more issues than it is going to solve issues. Mm-hmm. So like my big thing, and I talked to all the candidates about this, whether it be assembly, state senate, gubernatorial, whatever, is housing. Housing is a huge issue. Now, I don't believe in building millions of apartments and like taking out farms and stuff like that. I don't think that's the answer. I think the answer personally is number one, making single family homes more profitable, because right now, if you notice, all the houses they're building they're not even houses, they're apartments. Yeah. And it's all rentals, which is the other big problem. And I also think, too, stopping some of these major investment corporations from coming in and buying up single family homes and flipping them and turning them into rental properties. In my town of Belmar, there's a couple houses on this one block in this one street, and they're all like the double door. For a fact it was originally a house, but there's two doors, there's two addresses, A and B, and it splits off into separate rooms. And it's like, for a fact somebody owns that and somebody's renting that out. Like, that should not be the case. We shouldn't be doing that. That's just my opinion, though, me personally. So,
no, I agree, because a lot of younger people come in, they can't afford it because they can't afford new houses right now because they're through the roof. So what they do is they do rent, and they are building all these. They're building. I wish I could have helped shut it down. I mean, I was against it. A lot of people were, but it went through. They're building right by me. It's like I think it's like 200 plus condos. Yeah. And they could barely fit on the land that they're putting it on, number one. And number two, you don't have when you're building that amount in one area, and you don't have public transportation.
Correct. Yes, it's another problem.
Close enough. I mean, what's the point?
Yeah,
You know,
especially if it's out in the middle of a field, because it's like if so affordable housing. If it's affordable housing, you probably don't have a car to drive around in if you're scraping by to get into a place. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So it's like, what's even the point at that point? Like, you're right. It should be near some sort of public transit. What's odd though is that with the whole GCL line and everything, they're doing the public transit second before they're doing the housing first, which makes no sense to me. It's like, what are we doing here? I know why they're doing the GCL line; it's no secret, but it's definitely not for affordable housing.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, I know. And then what it does is it turns into more money, more taxpayer fund money. Then property taxes go up because now we need to build something to get these people around, or we need to um, give them tax incentives to buy a car or free down payment on something. There's always
yeah,
something that rolls into it that costs the taxpayer more money when you have this.
correct.
That's why I don't know. I mean, if you don't have the transportation to get there, but you still have to have means and methods for people to expand. Like I said before on the podcast before, when I was going after the worst cities in the country, the dirtiest, most crime ridden, poorest, they're all Democrat run.
Mhm.
You know, and I'm like, well, why don't you just Democrat run for like 70 years? 50
Yeah.
years, some 90 years straight without a Republican in office. And I went over the stats and how they declined after a Democrat took over. I'm like, why don't you give a Republican a chance? Maybe they won't come up with something. I mean, I wouldn't mind like to get someone out of a city to a job that was outside the city if you subsidized like their train pass or something like that.
Yeah.
So they can build up their own net worth to buy a home and get out of the city.
You know what the sad part is though about that, Damon, is that and I know this because recently our chairwoman, she got invited to a community center thing over in Camden City, and she talked to a lot of the people there that were voters that do come out to vote that are experiencing some issues right now in Camden City. And from what I was told, she gave an excellent speech. It was absolutely wonderful. And from what I heard and from what I was told by these people that were residents of Camden, was the reason why a lot of them never voted Republican was because there were never Republicans. They just kind of abandoned the city. They, for whatever reason, they don't think it's worth it to run in these cities. And I think if you put up an honest to God good campaign and you're putting the right word out there, and at the end of the day, you just want to do the right thing, I think you can win as a Republican, 100%, especially in that city.
I think you can too. I think you can if you actually get the message out.
Exactly.
You have to put the work in.
Yeah.
Because they are Democrat to run, and they have a lot of money for their ads, and a lot of people just watch TV, and that's who they're going to vote for. But if you get out there and actually meet the people, talk to the people, make a presence, I think they'll see a different side.
Correct. Yeah.
And what do they have to lose? If you had a Democratic mayor for 70 years,
yeah. Well, especially and it breaks my heart, especially in Camden too, because I used to work in Gloucester City for a little bit, and sometimes I'd have to go pick up a friend of mine that lived in Camden right behind the hospital, and I would have to drive, because the quickest way to get there would be to drive up Broadway, down Broadway in Gloucester City into Broadway in Camden. And my God, it's like a war zone out there. I mean, it's an absolute shame. You have people that are just, addicted to drugs, walking around like zombies, and it's like what is going on here? Like, what are the people that are in charge doing? Like, this is sad. Like, it really does. It really breaks my heart. And it's like, it reminds me why I got into this to begin with. And that's to help out those types of people, to get them the help that they need, to get the people that do put in the work, that, for whatever reason, they're not getting that opportunity to go to the next level. That's why I got into this, is to help those people out. So it's sad.
Well, no, that's good. That's absolutely good, because I don't think they want to help them. They rather keep them at bay. It's like dangling a carrot in front of their stick all the time. Like you see in every election, they always say, we're going to relieve all your student loans, even though they know they can't do it, or they'll say something. Even like I grew up in Philadelphia. And instead of tackling that, has a very bad drug problem. All of Kensington Avenue. I showed some clips on the podcast when I was doing that one episode.
Oh.
I mean, it's like The Walking Dead, walking down Kensington Avenue, and I grew up by there, and it was always bad, but it was never like this. It's horrible, and they don't care. And their solution, instead of getting them off the street, and I mean, even if you were to arrest somebody for drug possession, then you're at least getting them clean in jail. They're going to go through it, but then get them into a rehab. But instead, the mayor, his big plan was to have safe injection sites. and basically open up warehouses in the neighborhood.
His true plan is to push them out of Kensington, because they did that to Fishtown because Temple University was complaining about, the people coming over and mugging the students and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they, I hate to use the word, but gentrified Fishtown, made it a college town, pushed them up from Kensington, and now they're trying to push them out of Kensington. It's the same exact problem with Camden City and what they were doing with that. The whole reason that the GCL line is even a thing is because Rowan is the one that wants it. And I know this for a fact because my old barber was living, he was working in Glassboro, used to do the director of Rowan's hair. He used to be his barber. This was back in 2017, 16, and he told my barber, he's like, yeah, we're trying to make Rowan College a D1 college. They're buying up all the land. They built that hospital, which has a giant sports medicine facility in it. A lot of people don't know that. And and talk to some road workers down there. They're like, oh yeah, that's what they're doing. They're buying up all this land. So the whole point of the GCL line was, okay, we're going to kick all the people out of Camden, build up college homes in Camden, and then to get them from Camden to Rowan, we're going to build a high-speed rail line that goes from Camden to Glassboro. So a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, but when you push them out, I mean, the reason why I was born and raised in Fishtown, that's where I moved to, I sent from, and but I was on the border. But Kensington was only a block away. Well, maybe it was like 4 blocks away. But when they kicked them out of the train, they used to be down and live in the train track area, and they kicked them out. Now they're all up on the street. But it's like you just moving from one place to another is not helping anybody. Now, I mean, are some of the people beyond saving? Yeah, I'm sure there is, but it's still not helping anybody, anyone that lives there, anybody, or even the people that get into it by accident, people that are young and stupid and try to drugs, got hooked on it. Now they're living on the streets. I mean, safe injection sites. I remember I almost lost my top. My daughter was 3 at the time when they came out with that. I'm like, really? And it was going to be a couple blocks from my house. Like, you're going to have it means like you can go purchase your drugs, go to this big warehouse that has medical staff in there, walk in with your drugs and shoot up. And they just make sure you don't die.
Great idea. Enable the drug dealers. That's
what it is. How about you arrest the drug dealers?
Yeah, exactly.
Do something like that. But a lot of their policies don't make sense, and I don't get it either. And I know they've been trying to build up Camden for like 50 years and failed all the time. I mean, I probably at this point, in this day and age, I would thank the Norcrosses probably for that, because they don't want to build it up; they just want to keep sucking the money out of it as much as they possibly can. But that's a discussion for another time. But anyway, I'll still stick with President Who anyway, with Biden. So
got off track.
Yeah, well, like I said, we're always going to get off track and get back on. It's like Trump says, I do the weave. Always, I always land right back.
Yeah.
But let's go.
Biden's also to address his cognitive abilities.
Since you left office, there have been a number of books that have come out, deeply sourced from Democratic sources, that claim in your final year there was a dramatic decline in your cognitive abilities. What is your response to these allegations, or are these sources wrong?
They are wrong. There's nothing to sustain that.
The people who wrote those books were not in the White House with us, and they didn't see how hard Joe worked every single day. I mean, he'd get up, he'd put in a full day, and then at night I'd be in bed, reading my book, and he was still on the phone, reading his briefings, just working with staff. I mean, it was nonstop.
Right, Jill. And you're an actual doctor. Not one who got her degree off a box of Frosted Flakes. Finally, let's count the anyways.
What about this provision? No, Joe, I don't like that. Well, anyway, I told you we were going to get any of that done. None of you would have thought it happened. Yeah. Not because negative. I mean, it was anyway. So when I got in the plane, I went to South Korea. I went to all anyway. 8.2% federal tax.
Things.
Anyway, Secret Service. That's the benefit. Yeah. But it's also means you're not. Yeah. Anyway, I had a bad night. Yeah. And I had, anyway, I don't quite get the.
Yes, there you go. Again, I feel bad for the guy. I mean, I don't know how many times you got to watch him down stage, but I mean, the guts on Joe Biden saying, "Oh, I'll be laying in bed and he'd still be on his phone." Get the frig out of here. There's no.
You know what? it's sad because, you know, my mom and I would watch his speeches and stuff like that back when he was president or whatever. And, you know, my grandmother had Alzheimer's disease. She got it when I was 12, and she lived till I was 20, and I took care of her. And I see the way he acts, and I see the way that my grandmother acted, and it was like the exact same, like with the dementia and stuff like that. And it's just like, it really is sad. And the other thing too is that they're saying in the book, the Democratic insiders, he really started declining towards the end of the year. And, you know, I believe that that's probably when it started getting worse, but he was still going through that in the very beginning of his campaign. I remember when there was the video where he was talking about the little kids. They would like to rub on his hairy legs. And I'm just like, what is he talking about? Like, what? Like,
just going off into stories out of nowhere, corn pop and the train conductor. And I mean, just yeah. I mean, I know it's a lot to make fun of when he was president and all that. I know, but it's a sad thing having that. But
listen, they're fat.
So, oh man, but yeah, it's something to say. I mean, the Easter Bunny saving him from talking to people. I mean, there's shaking hands with ghosts on stage, trying to run up the very first one was trying to run up the Air Force One stairs. I mean, that was 3 times just going down. Like I was like, what the hell's going on here? And then he finally gets up, he's like, and then goes back in. I'm like, wow, But yeah, but I did. That's what. Jill Biden, and spoiler alert, at the end of the show, she's getting loser of the week. But she really, I don't think she has a soul. Like, I mean, I don't know what their relationship was. I know that Biden asked her to marry her like 4 times where she said yes, and he was chasing her big time. That's what he said. Anyway,
really?
From his own words. I remember watching an interview with him, and then she finally said yes. So I don't even know if she loves the guy. I mean, probably does. I mean, you keep trotting him out there. She wanted desperately to run again because she was probably the one.
I don't understand why she just doesn't run if she wants to run that bad. Because that's how it comes across. It comes across like she's the one that wants him up there. He looks like he's just like, I'm done with this. I don't want to continue to do this.
Yeah, and then she starts talking. That's look at his face. He's like this. And she's talking. He's like, oh no, that's probably just like his. She probably isn't trained.
Well, you can. Let's be honest with ourselves. You can see it in his eyes too. Like there's no, like there's. I won't say there's no life in there, but there's no cognitiveness. Like you can see it. Like it's.
So, but yeah, there's our ex-president there, who's somewhat still alive, and his blood-sucking wife, I'll call her, because I don't like Joe Biden at all. I don't know. She always came across with me as just a nasty person and only cared about herself, only cared about her fortune, her fame, and cared about money. And that's what that was about being on The View, because they were talking about their new book that they're coming, their biographies that they're going to have, because said she wrote everything in the diary, and I don't know what's with that family with diaries.
Yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't be writing stuff down if I were them.
The only thing that made me laugh was on election day with Jill Biden when she came out of the polling booth wearing a red suit.
Oh,
like you can't be any more obvious. You don't like Kamala.
Everyone said the same thing. She definitely voted for Trump.
Yeah,
because I mean, this is my speculation, but I'm pretty sure this is how it happened. They wanted Joe out. He didn't know if he was in or out. He had no idea where he was. So, but I think that Joe didn't want him out. And when it got to a point, especially at that debate, then they just had to. So I'm picturing my mind Pelosi and Obama going over to Joe's house and saying, Joe, you got to get out, and pushed him out. And the reason I believe that so much, and I said it before, is there was no huge press conference like him. If he's the incumbent, the acting president at the time, and he's going to drop out of the race. You would think there'd be a major press conference called, and he would give that speech to the American people. Instead, he put it out on like a Saturday on X, and then in that letter that he posted out there, people thought it could have been fake at first, but he put in there that he completely 100% endorsed Kamala Harris, and I think he did that to screw them over because they didn't want her.
See, what's funny about that is too, if you listen to, I forget where it was, if it was like an interview or she was being recorded or something, but Pelosi specifically said when that all happened, she's like, I had assumed that we were going to have some sort of delegation or something to pick who would replace Biden. Like that's what everyone was thinking. And then Joe just came out of nowhere and said, I'm endorsing Kamala Harris. And they kind of blew that out of the water. So I don't think she I can't speak for the Obamas, but I don't think she realized it either, because there's some sort of recording or a text or whatever out there where she talks about that. So
yeah, I think they did it to put the screws to them because they pushed them out.
I think Joe did that too. I think, or Jill, let's be honest with ourselves, we're like, okay, you want to do that, Kamala? You're going to be the president now. So,
oh God, thank God we dodged that bullet. It was actually closer than I thought, but yeah, we dodged that bullet big time. But I have one more quick clip, very quick clip, and I wanted to play it last time because it kind of goes with the first clip, how like Scott Besson, he was talking with the guy when he said about Biden. He said most people will think so, or will believe that was our president. It's the Republicans now, the people on the Trump team now. They know how the left is going to react, and the left has nowhere to go with anything. They don't have any true policies that people can believe in. They're flailing right now. So now, I mean, why not have a little bit of fun with them? Have a little fun with the press. Have a little fun with the radical left, because you're going to take everything that you say and they're going to run with it, like Trump with the 2028 hats. And then they ask him in the one. This is from the interview with Meet the Press. One of the first questions they ask, are you going to run for a third term? Now, come on. They know he's not. They know he can't. But knowing Trump, he is. He goes, well, a lot of people keep asking me about that, and to run again. He goes, but that's not my plan. He goes, I don't know if it's the law or not. I look at the Constitution. He knows that he can't run again, but he's just saying it to say it because he knows that they're all going crazy right now.
It stirs the pot, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, well, I'm just going to, I'm going to do my 4 years and turn it over. That's my plan. He goes, but I know a lot of people want me to, but I don't think I can. Like the way he said, I don't think I can. Well, he knows he can't. But in this interview, this is something that he said. I just want to play this, but it's only like 3 seconds. So we can play that real quick clip because I thought it was hilarious.
Biden is the worst thing that ever happened to old people.
That's it. He was talking about Bernie Sanders, and he said because Bernie Sanders is old. He said Bernie Sanders is a nut job. He said, but he's still smart. He said he's still sharp. He's got it. So and then he just goes on to Biden and he goes, you know what? Because Biden was the absolute worst for old people because he made such a bad impression for them. And he's talking about himself too. Because Trump's age. I just thought it was hilarious. And I wanted to get that clip in there, and that's how that's Trump. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What were you talking about?
I completely forgot what I was going to say. I'm just like, I saw that clip and I'm like, all right.
And then he says it again, like maybe like 10 seconds. He's, but no, I mean it. He really is the worst thing that ever happened to old people. I'm like, oh, man. That was great. That was hilarious.
He was terrible.
So, but all right. So with that, let's go to our next promo, and we'll go to the primary countdown. We'll start talking about the gubernatorial race, among other races here, and the hopefully greater state of New Jersey come election November.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with Alexandra Levine Live on the America's Pulse Network. You are all in with Alexandra Levine. We are still waiting for someone from the White House to come out and tell us what transpired between President Trump and Vladimir Putin on that call today. We are here live at the White House. We're waiting for White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt to come out and tell us about the updates of today, the call between President Trump and Vladimir Putin, what transpired in that call.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.
Generation fighters take the stand. From shore to shore we reclaim the land. Grit and glory in every strand. In Jersey Shore we make our stand.
So that right there, that's Alexandra Levine. So she has Alexandra Levine live. That's our own Peter Ducey. That's America's Pulse's own Peter Ducey out down there at the White House. So
it's awesome.
Yeah. So no, it was great when we got the press passes. So we were hoping it helped the network, and she's good. She can ask some good questions when she's there. But in the meantime, so I want to get to the primary countdown. I mean, you're heavily involved with what's going on in Camden County with all the primaries going on.
Yep.
We'll get into it. I cut some clips from the debate, not last night, the night before, between 3 gubernatorial candidates. It was Chitterelli, Spadia, and Bramnick.
Yep.
So there's still two others in the race. Yeah, Kranjak and
Barbera.
Yeah, they weren't on there. So they're falling, I guess, too low to be on the debate stage. I thought Bramnick was too, actually.
Pretty sure. So just to clarify real quick, I'm pretty sure for them to be eligible for the debates, they have to make a certain amount of money. I believe it's $580,000, and the state has to match it. And the obligation is they have to go up to the debates. And I don't think they reached that goal. That's why.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But I never met Kranjak, but I had Justin Barbera on the show. He's a great guy.
I met him before. I met Barbera before. He's a good guy. Same thing with Kranjak. I actually felt bad when I first met Kranjak because we were at a table, it was at the Lincoln Reagan Day dinner in Camden County, and somebody at my table was being a nuisance, and Kranjak was talking. I went up to him afterwards and I said, "Hey, my name's Blake. I completely apologize." He's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. It was perfectly fine." So I got nothing personal against any of the gubernatorial candidates. I don't agree with a lot of their policies. There's one specific candidate that I like in particular. But I've never had personal problems with any of them. So if anything, I had more issues with their campaign staff and the people around them than I do them themselves.
No, I hear you there. But yeah, so we got, I mean, I know, let's see, LD4.
Yes.
I know with Barbara.
Yes, it's Barbara McCormick going against the joint ticket of Jerry McManus and Amanda Esposito. So Jerry and Amanda are pro-Jack. That's, their side of the things. Barbara, she's just kind of out here doing her own thing. A lot of endorsements coming from both sides of the aisle. Senator Ed Durr just endorsed Barbara McCormick. And also earlier as well, Gloucester County Commissioner Nick Del Silvio also endorsed Barbara McCormick as well too. So those are that's the big thing right now in LD4 is that battle. And let me just clarify something too, real quick. The same thing I said for the gubernatorial candidates also applies for the LD4 candidates as well. I'm helping Barbara out. I personally have no issues with either Amanda or Jerry. Like I said, if anything, I got more issues with the people that work on their campaign. So, but I like Barbara. She's a great candidate. I think she's going to do absolutely phenomenal. And then, yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens with Legislative District 4, but it's definitely going to be a heated race. And I'm just hoping that regardless of, who gets the nomination, that the energy that we have for the primary, we can increase that to 100 times over and beat the Democrats in the general election. That's what I'm hoping. At the end of the day.
I mean, no matter who wins the primary on whatever they're running for, they're going to get my support on the Republican side for sure.
Yeah.
Because we need to go around. I mean, I'll get behind Jack 100%. I was behind him last time. I think Spady is a better candidate at the moment. I'm not saying Jack's horrible or anything like that or anything bad about him. But I will support Jack 100% if he were to win. Same thing with anyone running for assembly. I mean, LD3. Chris Conwell, and I don't know who his running mate is.
I don't know. I just know Chris. I don't know who the other gentleman is.
I'll have to get Chris on the show. I had Nick DeSilvio on the show. Ed Durr was on the show. They were both here in studio. Two great guys. And then you have Pete and Jack. Pete.
Yep, LD6.
Co-host on the Jersey Shore radio show. Pete and Jack have been here many times. And then you have Constance and
Nilsa Gonzalez for legislative. Yep, and that's my district. So they're all doing. I mean, across the entirety of Camden County, they're all doing a phenomenal job. They really are, and so are our county commissioner candidates too. In Camden County, we have 2 county commissioner candidates. We have 1 unexpired term, and we have a county surrogate. So we have Rob Stone from Stratford and Christian Navarro, the Camden City Republican chairman, running for the 2 regular commissioner positions. The unexpired term, we have Shane Burnett out of Winslow running for that position, and for the surrogate, we have Adam Nieves from Camden City also running for that position as well. In fact, Nilsa, I don't know if you know this, she lives in Mount Ephraim, but she was born and raised in Camden, and she teaches in Camden City as well. So we have 3 candidates in Camden County right now that are from Camden City that are running for different positions, and I think that's phenomenal.
That's great.
I mean, it is, yeah.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, I think it's going to be great. I mean, it's going to be a good primary. I know some people are walking through the primary, which is good for them. You know, it's
one
less obstacle.
Yeah, right. Save your resources for the general.
Yeah, trust me, it's better to walk through a primary. I know that personally. So anyway, I want to get into the debate now. The three gubernatorial candidates that were up there, like I said, it was Girelli, Spadia, and Bramnick. So let's roll S3V1. That's one of the debate
Jack,
topics that we're talking about.
Change any school mandates regarding sexuality, gender, or race?
I've said from the beginning, Mike, I don't believe we need an LGBTQ curriculum, and that doesn't mean I'm not an inclusive guy. I think if we teach our children the golden rule and respect people and show tolerance and respect for people, no matter how different they may be for us, I don't think we need to teach climate change across all subject matters. I think what we need to do right now, in light of the fact that Jersey's just slipped from 2 to 12 on the national report card, is we got to get back to teaching critical life skills, providing vocational training with an age-appropriate curriculum. And we'll get that under Governor Cettarelli.
So that was Jack. That's what he was talking about with schools, about the gender stuff in schools and all that. And they talk more about it as well. Bill will be next. But yeah, I mean, I believe what Jack said right there is good. What we have to do, but the only thing he didn't talk about like how. Like what? That's the only thing.
That was one of my biggest gripes with Jack during that entire debate was I like a candidate that can go into depth. Now, in the beginning of the debate, I think it spelled disaster for Jack because they started out with Spadia first, and he came across, hey, I'm the Trump candidate. Then they went to Bramnick. Bramnick straight up said, I'm the moderate, essentially. And then Jack, it was like, okay, well, what side does Jack go more towards the Trump side? Does he go more towards the moderate side? And, and then when he got on the issues, Spadia was like, executive order. John Bramnick, I'm going to reach across the aisle, talk to the Democrats. And then you had Jack. Now, I'll give Jack credit where credit's due. I believe out of all three candidates, he was the only one that said, we really need to work on flipping our legislature, which is incredibly important. And I do believe that if we want to get, permanent changes in the state of New Jersey, we have to do that. Yeah. Executive orders are great and all, but after the Republican governor's gone after 8 years, then the Democrat governor, whoever, could just come in and be like, yep, they're gone. Like it doesn't matter. So I agree with him on that part. But other than that, yeah, he really didn't go into depth of how he was going to do it. So.
Yeah, well, let's roll the next clip. This one's
and Bill, let me ask you, what would you push to change any school mandates regarding sexuality, gender, or race?
Now, we're going to get rid of all the porn books that are in our libraries right now. Number two, we're going to strike 5756 and end this gender cult recruitment that is going on in our schools. We're going to put the parents back in charge, and we're going to end this nonsense. It's pronouns and propaganda. We ought to be teaching American greatness. We ought to be teaching math and science and reading. Look at the kids in Newark. 9 out of 10 of these kids, it's a civil rights crisis. 9 out of 10 cannot do math at grade level. Yet you've got a Department of Education and a State Board of Education pushing pronouns and gender studies. It is outrageous. It is all going to stop. And I'll tell you how. Again, specifics, details matter. You can't just say you're going to do it. How are you going to do it? 13 members of the State Board of Education, 8 of them right now have their terms have already expired. They will be gone on day one, and we're going to put parental rights and school choice champions on that state board.
And that right there is why I'm voting for Spadia.
100%. He said how he was going to do it. They're expired. They're going to be gone. And as soon as I get in there, we're replacing them. Now, I'd be curious how the selection committee is to replace those 8. I would like to know how that would work. But hey, if they're expired, yeah, get rid of them. So.
Yeah, I mean, at least there's a plan. Now, he went into more depth with it too. He talked about the stats in Newark. He talked about what they should be teaching in schools. And he said straight up, get rid of porn books.
Yeah,
that's what they are. I've seen them. I mean, they're atrocious. I couldn't believe it when I saw them. But then in the end, when he said, and that's what matters, the facts and the plan of how he's going to do it, and that's what he went into. And right then and there, I was like, there you go. That was a better answer for me. Anyway.
Yep, absolutely. I agree.
I don't like with somebody, they can tell me anything they want, that they're going to do this, they're going to do that, but how are you going to do it? I was like, all right, well, we're going to get rid of the gas tax. Okay, well,
How are you going to do it?
how are you going to replace it? Obviously, it's paying for something. Gas tax
Yeah.
goes towards our roads, or some subsidize some of the trains and stuff like that, and public transportation. But then there's money that's allocated towards something. What are you replacing it with?
I don't even think that's the big issue. I think the big issue is, okay, how do we get that across the table? That's what I'm more worried about. How do you get it codified? How do you make sure that it actually goes through? Because the thing is, too, with Spadia, and I like Bill. I support Bill 100%. I'm curious if he does do these executive orders, how far these executive orders are going to go. Are they going to get held up in the courts? Is every executive order going to get fought on? What can he do via executive order? What he can't do via executive order? Now, obviously, he has a whole team behind him. I'm sure they told him, hey, you can do this, you can do that, but you can't do this. So I'd be very curious how far that goes, to be honest with you. So nothing against him personally. I'm just curious. So.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he gets on. I'm sure he knows. I mean, that's what he's big on. This. He's been talking about when he sat down with us at the Mag in the Pines.
Yeah.
And so, I asked him the question. I said, Trump has 4 years of Biden to undo.
Correct.
Yeah, you have 8 years of Murphy
yeah.
to undo. And he just cut me off right then. He goes, "Yeah, we have 8 years." He said, "But we're going to do. We're going to start signing these." And he just went on. I was like, "All right." So and he was off to the races.
Well, I think didn't he say he already had like 100 or 50 or something like that already drafted up?
Yeah, he said the first. Well, he said is 100 executive orders. I don't know if he said the first 100 days or he said the first 18 months, one or the other. But he said 100 executive orders. I think he said 100 executive orders.
Yeah, he said he had it on backlog. Like he had already made it up. He just got to he's got to write the pen across them. So
yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be. This might actually be a fun primary, to see what happens. I mean, I'm sure both going to have part of it. I'm sure it's going to be pretty close, to the best man win.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm backing either one, whoever wins. But personally, I like the way Bill delivers, and I don't know.
I feel the exact same way.
I just feel like he's more personal. I feel like he's more. To his word, to his constituents. I think he's going to do what he can. I'm not taking anything away from Jack. I'm sure Jack is going to be too, but it's just Bill. There's something different about Bill, other than the fact that he not only tells you what he's going to do, he's telling you how he's going to do it, but he just comes across as somebody that really is eager to do it.
Exactly.
That wants to. And that's the type of thing that I like about him a lot.
I just think people get too worked up over like just these elections in general. It's like at the end of the day, it's like, here's my opinion about this person. If you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. And hey, listen, I got people that, they know that I like Spadia. They like Jack. I don't have a problem with them whatsoever. All right. May the best man win, whatever the case may be. Just, whether who crosses the finish line, just make sure that we're all going to be there to get rid of the Democrats in November. That's all I care about. So,
yeah. And I mean, Bill knows the only reason why I'm backing him. I'm trying to get him to throw me his listeners. So, it's not true. It's not true. I'm lying. So, but yeah, so they're still, in this next clip here, we'll roll this one. They're still talking about, the bill on the books and stuff like that. But like I said, I like the fact that Spady even named it, 5756 they're going to get rid of. And, and he had the numbers, he had the stats, like he's already on it and he knows what he's going to do to fix it. That's what it stood out for me. So, but let's roll this last clip of the debate. I wish I could have done more, but it would have been just too many clips.
Yeah, there's books that shouldn't be on our shelves, in my opinion, Michael.
What kind of books?
Ones that are teaching graphic sex and the like. We need an age-appropriate curriculum. And I'm not opposed to sex education. I think there's a time and a place for it, a certain age for it. But what we're doing right now, I don't think is in the best interest of our children.
How about you, Bill Spadia?
When I was a kid, we had sex ed in class, and it was biology. It was about how humans procreated. Very, very different, teaching kids about how the human body works versus what we're seeing now, which, again, pronouns, propaganda, and sexual activity. I have seen the books. The books are so inappropriate, as a matter of fact, that the state legislature would not allow them to be read aloud nor depicted or shown on posters during the hearings when parents were upset about this. So if it's too graphic to be shown in the state legislature, it does not belong in any age. It doesn't belong in our schools. Why are we teaching that kind of stuff in our schools? Let's get back to math and science and American greatness.
See, again, it's another example. I'll remember what Jack said in the end. He goes, I don't think it's, the best thing for our kids. You don't think it is.
No, it's not the best thing for our kids.
Yeah.
Like, When I was in school, which was 2006, 2007, middle school, the only thing they were teaching us sexual wise was in a sex ed class, which was how babies were made. That's it. They weren't teaching us anal sex, oral, whatever the case may be. And like some of the books that you see, it's like, what are we doing here? Like, my God, like, especially with these kids, they're going through puberty, right? They don't know who they want to be or where they are in the world. They have so many hormonal changes already happening because of that. And it's like, now you want to introduce this stuff to them. And it's like, now it's really messing them up because it's like, now they don't know who they are. It's like, it's messed up. Like, okay, fine. Let them decide that after they're an adult, after they're over the age of 18. Don't push it in the schools.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean, I mean, just imagine, like, my son is 6 years old.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's silly hearted as a 6-year-old should be, and obviously still believes in like Santa Claus, and because he is real, by the way. So in case you're watching, but if he goes into school and he picks up a book and he sees something, he said like anal sex, oral sex, something like that, as of right now, he knows that he pees from it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all he needs to know. He doesn't really know how he was made. God made him. That's what, and mommy and daddy helped. That's as far as he needs to know right now. He's 6. So, but he goes into school and there's a progressive teacher in there, radical left. Oh yeah, well, you could be a girl if you want. And they start saying, really? I could be like my sister? Because he has an older sister. And they think like that and it starts messing with their heads. And then he opens a book and he sees oral and he says, he calls it, I don't say what he calls it, but he's got his own word for it. But it's there, where it shouldn't be, and then he's going to start thinking that's where it's supposed to be, and then they're going to get in trouble. It's just, it's complete and utter friggin' sickness to even think that should be in a child's school, and that's why what Jack said was on point. But no, we shouldn't have this stuff in school. But he says, I don't think it's good for students. No, you damn well know it's not good for students.
No, it's not.
So, and I don't think he meant to say it that way, but still, words matter. And then when Bill said, no, it's got to come out of school, and he said, if they're not allowing these books to be shown and displayed at these parental meetings and all that stuff,
school board meetings, even like
the parents can't see it, and they why don't they want it displayed and read aloud?
Yeah, and then the school board people, they tell you, oh, you can't keep continuing. This is inappropriate. It's inappropriate. You have it in your school libraries. Like, come on now. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, it's because they got caught. That's why they got caught. And that's what it is. I mean, if the children are the most precious things on earth, they're our future. And that's, if the left, they don't want to have kids, and that's what they're all about. They're more on praising abortion than even having a baby.
That doesn't make any sense to me too in the long run as well. They don't want to have kids. It's like, if that's the case, you do know your voter base is going to die out eventually, right? Like, I don't understand that logic. So
I was going to say it earlier. I forgot about it. I was going to say, that if they don't want to have kids, we're talking about Vice Chair DNC, the younger people.
Yeah.
Like, well, there's not going to be many of them left because none of them want to have kids. But for the most part, conservatives, Republicans do. Not all, but for the most part, they're more family oriented and
100%.
Yeah. So, and again, I hate like dividing. It is a political show, but like I said, Republicans this, Democrats this. It's just two separate type of people the way they think. And so happens they vote that way. So I don't know how else to put it, but I don't know. But between everything, I don't know how you feel about it, but in New Jersey right now, Trump only lost by 5 points. Now you have the people getting involved that were never involved before. You got Jack never ran for office, he's running. You got Pete never ran for office, he's running. Yep. Constance, I don't think she ever ran for office, she's running.
Nelson never ran
for office. And I don't know about Barbara. I don't know if she ever did it or not.
No, she's just she's been in the military for a very long time, like 30 years, over 30 years now. So, but yeah, a lot of these people, that's a very good point. I didn't think about that. Yeah, a lot of them are first time, people running for office, and it's like and you're going to be seeing a lot of that too. You're going to be seeing a lot more like just normal people being like, hey, I want to run. I want to do this. I want to do that. I mean, heck, it's happening in my town. We had a gentleman 2 years ago run for school board in Belmar, and he ran. His whole thing was the books need to go. Like, that was his thing. He was
Yeah.
like, he had a social media war. He went to war with the progressives. My entire town had signs everywhere of him. It was insane, but it was like you would never expect him to do that. But he just said, one day I'm going to get up and do it. And you're going to be seeing that a lot more, I think, around here in the state of New Jersey and in America in general. I mean, look at the lady, who was it? Down in Texas. She had to close her salon because of COVID-19 or something. And then she ran, I think it was for Congress or state senate or something down there, and she won. So,
well, that's the same thing with Ian Smith.
Yeah.
You're from Delaware.
Yep.
And,
I know Ian and Frank very well. So he no longer lives in New Jersey. He lives in Florida now. But Frank's still there. Still go to that gym. Still say hi to Frank from time to time. So we have a good conversation. Yeah, that whole incident. Oh, Jesus, God Almighty! I don't know if I want to. I don't even know if I want to get. We'll be here all night if I go into that. So
yeah, we'll save that one for the next one because I'm curious. I mean, I've talked to Ian a couple times. Because when I ran, and then last time I talked to him, he said he was in Florida.
So to tell you where I live right around the corner from the gym. If you go down Browning Road, there's a guy with white limos. If you lived in Belmar, you know what I'm talking about. I live right down that street. So I was around the corner from that gym when all that stuff happened. I actually stayed, and I'm not saying that I was a big part of it because I wasn't. I did sleep over there twice to help the gym and to protect the gym and stuff like that from the people coming in. And I remember, what made me, besides everything that was going on, what really got me wanting to get into this was when I was getting up for work at 4 a.m. in the morning, and Ian had an Instagram photo I thought it was a SWAT team, but it was the Camden County Police decked out in like terrorist garb or whatever. Blocked off all the entrances to Browning Square Plaza, which is where the gym is located, and had unmarked vehicles, guys walking around with rifles or whatever, like they were defusing a bomb. And I actually drove by it because I was trying to get in there and try to help him out or whatever. And I had one of the cars follow me home the entire time.
Really?
Yeah, swear to God.
It was some crazy times, man.
Yeah.
Well, it still is, but at least we're getting somewhat back to normal. But yeah, like I said, and the main thing is, yes, get people out to vote. Make your voices heard, get out to vote. But even take it a step further, your vote does really count. But if you want to get involved and actually run for office and not just swing for the fences like I did out of nowhere, start off smaller, or you can swing for the fences too. I kind of got there doing what I did, but it's fine. I'm so happy I did it. It led to a lot of other things and meeting a lot of people. And who knows, maybe I'll do it again. But, it's just getting involved is the most important thing. I mean, me just getting involved and running for office, this is the first time I met so many great people. And then the second time, even more people led to podcasts, radio shows, to many, many things. Meeting people from across the country that I never met before, I have great relationships with, and starting to build a network of like-minded people.
If there's one thing I can say to any young person out there watching this right now that wants to get involved in politics, there's a couple things I'm going to say. Number one, it is tough. It is not easy. You build great relationships. You'll meet a lot of great people. You'll also meet a lot of people that you don't agree on, that you'll get in fights with. The one thing I have to tell you is this, and I've learned this from experience: treat every individual, every relationship you have as a two-way street. And the reason I say that is because you're going to hear a lot of people that have issues with other people, that have issues with other people, that have issues with other people. If you listen to all those people, you're going to end up not liking anybody because everyone's got problems with them. What matters at the end of the day is your relationship with that individual and vice versa. That's all that matters. That's the only advice that I would give to any young person trying to get into politics. Always keep that in mind. So,
no, good advice. Good advice. So yeah, it is tough. I mean, you can't trust everybody, and I mean, a lot of people are in it for themselves. But then once in a while, you find somebody that's really not. And they're the type of people that I like to vote for. And
100%.
Because people don't have to do it. Like people like Pete and Jack Constance, even like Chris Conwell, even though he's elected already. But these are things that he doesn't. They don't have to do. They're choosing to do it. Especially people that never even ran before. That they're choosing to do it. I mean, I commend them tremendously for doing it and putting themselves out there. Especially because you're putting yourself in a situation you never.
Hey, listen, I've said it before. I could lose everything tomorrow. I could, not be involved in this at all. I'm still going to go out and make a name for myself one way or another. I'm still going to, hit the trail or whatever the case may be. Whatever economic opportunity there is, I'm going to pursue, and I'm going to be great at it. I same thing. I don't need this. I do this because I care about the people of New Jersey. I care about the people of Camden County, and most importantly, in my heart, I care about the people of Belmar. So, and what's going on down there. So, I know I did that backwards, but
everyone still got it though.
Yeah.
So, all right. So at this moment, we are going to go to the last promo for that. Well, not the last one, but then we're going to go into the Patriot and Loser of the Week
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
Generation fighters take the stand. From shore to shore we reclaim the land. Grit and glory in every strand. In Jersey Shore we make our stand.
All right, welcome to the Patriot and Loser Awards here. So, first I'm going to go with the Patriot Award. I'm going to give it, Patriot Award goes out to Seth Eisenberg, which is first name. It's actually Jonah Seth Eisenberg from the Conservative Corner. He is one of our podcasters, and he's an Army vet, and one of our podcasters, and he got sick and bad infection in his foot, very, very, very bad. We'll be talking about it on the Pulse and stuff like that. He's at a point where we can make fun of him a little bit because he can't see the hole through his foot as much as you could before. But I'm giving him the Patriot Week Award because he's a Patriot every week, number one, and he's been in and out of the hospital for months and hasn't been back to work, and he still can't walk, without help. And he has a GoFundMe out there. So it's up on the screen right now. So if you can go to GoFundMe for Jonah Eisenberg, it goes by Seth. I assume that's his middle name. But Seth is a really great guy. He's a Patriot. He's an Army vet, and he's completely common sense. I think my producer cut the clip because we did a like a mock-up of the Pulse, because the Pulse is starting this Wednesday, by the way, but I'll get into that at the end. A little mock-up for it, and he went on a rant. You could tell he's been out of it for a while. Like, he was just waiting to get back on the podcast, and like I just asked him a question about I went to him first. He's a vet, about the war about India and Pakistan about to break out, and he just went off, and he's just I'm just sitting there, and everybody. Pick it up. I think it even came up on one of the Opus clips. Like, it's like one of the best clips that came out of it. But yeah, he's pretty funny. But he was serious though, but he's not filtered. But everything he says is common sense. So he gets the Patriot of the Week award. So for Loser of the Week award, wasn't a hard one. I'm giving it to Dr. Joe Biden. I hate even saying doctor, but yeah, she's a loser of the week for trotting her husband out there again, and making him embarrass himself in front of the world stage again. And I think she does it because she's money hungry, but she's a bitch. That's what. Yeah, she is. That's how I interpret her actions. Because I think she's lust for power and doesn't really care about anybody else but herself, maybe her family. Who knows? But yeah, I don't trust her. I think she's all about herself. I think she should give a shit about any of the American citizens at all. She only cares about herself. That's just my opinion. But you can, it's not a fact. I didn't look it up. I didn't read it in a book. It's just my opinion. So I am Jersey Shore on that one, SURE, but I'm not saying you have to be. But so what do you think about Jill being the loser?
I just think, Jill, if you're watching this, which is probably like whatever, somebody that knows Jill's watching this, please just stop trotting your husband around. Let the poor man sleep. Let the poor man enjoy retirement. If you want to go out and do, be like, I'm the great Jill Biden, I was the first lady, by all means. But for the love of God, give him a break, please, because it's just sad at this point. It really is.
Or like you said, run for office.
Run for office, Jill. Like, come on now.
Our slogan could be, I'll be a great president.
The doctor's
because
here.
I already was. I'm experienced. I already served 4 years. So that's our loser and our patriot of the week. So we did the GoFundMe. So also I want to talk about this book right here. This is Bone Deep Blues. Bone Deep Blues. It was written by Brian O'Callahan. Brian O'Callahan, he lives in New Jersey. So all you New Jerseys out there should get out there and support him and buy this book. A retired detective. So he wrote this book. It's about a former Navy SEAL, J.D. Big Dog Walker, now enjoying a quiet life as a blues musician and nightclub owner, learns that his brother and his fiancée have been kidnapped. Believing that police could not help, he calls upon some old friends and together finds themselves immersed in a world of human trafficking, sex workers, and organized crime. Can he save his brother before he's killed, his fiancée before she's sold, and save his business while staying one step ahead of the mob and the police? This has a 4.8 out of 5-star rating. It's available in digital, print, and now audio on thebigdogmedia.com and amazon.com. So Brian O'Callahan, local guy from New Jersey here, but it is a very, 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 very good book. And I've said it before, I'll say it again, I haven't really read a book since high school, and this is the first one that I've read back to back since high school. So thank you for that, Brian. Appreciate it. But yeah, you should check it out. Pretty good.
Thank you. I will.
Bone Deep Blues. All right. And then also I want to go into before we get here, I'll let you go first. So where can people find you on social media and for all the stuff that you're doing as well?
Sure. You can find me on Twitter on my personal Twitter page on Blake_PRZY at Blake_PRZY. If you wish to follow the Camden County Republicans, you can find us on Twitter under Camden County YRF. We also have a Facebook page as well for the Camden County Young Republicans. We're called the Camden County Young Republicans Federation. That's how you can find us. If you're interested in, if you know somebody from Belmar that wants to join the Belmar Republicans, we have a website, www.belmarrepublicans.com. We also have a Facebook group. We do a lot of events, monthly meetings, et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me. So I also have a Facebook page for my Belmar candidacy, running for councilman. So you can also follow that as well. Blake Przybyszewski for council. If you don't know how to spell my last name, grab a pen and paper. It's PRZYBYSZEWSKI. It's a long one, I know.
Yeah, he spelled it for me earlier, and I said, you know what? I said, I'll tell you one thing. I don't care if somebody had a gun to my mother's head and said, spell Przybyszewski right now, she's dead. I'd be like, Mom, I love you. I'm sorry. It's not happening. I'm never going to be. Thank you for raising me. That's how it would end, because I wouldn't have a chance.
There's no vowels in my last name. That's what I tell people.
Yeah, I text me. I said, do me a favor, spell his last name for me. He said, yeah, right. But yeah, so also, like I was talking about before, we have the Pulse. We're going to be going live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. That'll be Seth, Alexander, myself, and we'll always have a guest or two on, rotated every week, just talking about the issues, but you'll get everyone's different opinion. So usually have 4 to 5 on the Pulse at a time. And yeah, these are people that live in different states, different perspectives, but they're all come from the same common sense based stuff. I mean, we all agree that we should live by common sense. We build, again, like from my monologue, we believe that men are men and women are women and so forth. So you know where I'm going with that. But it's just a conservative-based show, talking about good stuff, and we give you the news unfiltered and facts. And I always tell people, you don't have to believe me. Go look it up yourself. Don't talk about anything that I'm not Jersey Shore about. Then you have the Jersey Shore show which will be Mondays at 8 p.m. So I'll just run through the week. So Mondays, 8 p.m., Jersey Shore. Then Wednesdays, 8 p.m., The Pulse. Oh, sorry, I skipped over Alexandra. Alexandra Levine live on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. And then Wednesday will be The Pulse. And then Thursday is the Jersey Shore Radio Show and Cruise 92.1 WVLT. You can get that through Facebook Live if you go on Cruise 92.1's Facebook, or just wait for it to be posted on mine. Or you can go on Google and listen to it live. It's every Thursday from 5 to 6 p.m. And then Friday, we have the Jersey Shore podcast again. I did say last Friday would be the last one in studio, so I'm going to use my radio show, and then the rest I'm going to do from home because the kids are getting busy with all their activities, so it's kind of tough to always make it to studio. And I think my producer is tired of seeing me too much. So, but and then we have Seth is coming back. He's going to be Sundays at 7 p.m. So we got a nice little lineup all week long, and it's going to continue to grow. And we're still looking for sponsors as well. I mean, we had the one for Jersey Shore. We're looking for the Pulse and Jersey Shore as well. And I'll air on the radio show and on the podcast as well. So anything else you got for listeners out there?
No, that's it for me. Keep it 100.
Make sure you get out and vote. Primary,
get out and
June
vote.
10th.
That's important. Yep.
And get involved. So, all right, everybody. So this is the Jersey Shore, SURE. So as always, stay alert, stay involved, and stay Jersey Shore. Have a good night.
God bless.
Stone cold hearts in the land of the free. Galvanized truth, just you and me. Freedom ain't cheap, gotta hold tight. In Jersey Shore, we'll win this fight. No more tears, just righteous pride. In the streets, our spirits reside. Unity strong, we walk this line. One big voice, it's our time. Jersey Shore, we got the fight. Stand together through the night. America first, raising the flag. We ain't never gonna lag. No more tears, just righteous pride. In the streets, our spirits reside. Unity strong, we walk this line. One big voice, it's our time.